Hello, my name is Dr. Rob Yeung. I'm an organisational psychologist and a coach at the consultancy Talent Space. And I'd like to talk to you about how you can give more compelling presentations. When I'm training clients in presentation skills, I usually use a 4-letter acronym which I call the 4 Ps, which stand for preparation, practice, performance, and then a post-mortem. So let's go through each of these in a little bit of detail. So when I talk about preparation, I'm not going to tell you about how you should write every single slide or every paragraph of a speech. Instead, what I would encourage you to do as you prepare is to ask yourself what your main objective is. So good presenters, they understand that an effective presentation is not just about education. It's not simply about firing information at an audience. A good presentation is as much about engagement. It's getting people in your audience to think about a topic and do something differently. So ask yourself now, what is it that you want your audience to do? Perhaps you want them to support a project proposal of yours, or you want them to actually go purchase a product. Maybe they are customers or clients of yours. Or you want people to stop doing something which may be harmful for the business or the environment perhaps. So as you write all of your slides and write additional paragraphs, keep asking yourself, does this add to my main objective, or is it perhaps slightly tangential or even a diversion from it? The second component is practice. So sometimes when you watch someone who is a great public speaker, it can be easy to believe that they must be a natural, that they're just gifted, they have a talent for it. But what you don't see is how much practice they may have done secretly beforehand. When I'm working with executives, sometimes we practice something 3, 4 or 5 times. And when I'm training people, I encourage them to do at least 2 or 3 full-timed run-throughs. What you'll probably find is that the first time you do a run-through, you may actually find phrases that you want to change and rewrite, or that you may want to change the structure, the order of your presentation. But then as you do the second or your third run-through, you'll become more and more familiar with your message, so you don't have to rely on notes, and you can focus more on eye contact with your audience and really selling your message. The third P stands for performance, which is really a reminder to think about your body language and your tone of voice. In terms of your tone of voice, there's nothing worse than when someone speaks in a monotonous tone of voice and there's no pacing or pauses. You've got to think about emphasizing key words. Think about allowing pauses between important facts so that your audience can think about the material. Then, when it comes to the physical aspects of your performance, your body language, I usually think about moving my arms freely in front of me. So creating a square from my shoulders to my hips. And then I move my hands freely in this square when I'm presenting to a smaller group of perhaps a dozen or 20 people. But then when I'm presenting to a very large room full of people, of perhaps hundreds or even over 1,000 people, then I want to be visible to people at the very back of an auditorium. So then I will make much larger gestures. And the point here is that when you are visually engaging, you become more memorable. Finally, we move on to a post-mortem, which you clearly do after you have given your presentation. But this isn't just about you sitting and reflecting on what you think went well or could have been improved. Ideally, you want to ask perhaps a couple of people in your audience what they thought. Ask them what they thought went well, because you want to learn what you should continue doing in future. But also ask them what you could have done differently. Could I have done more of something, or perhaps less of something else to be more effective? So that over time you get better and better. So remember these 4 components if you want to improve your presentation skills. Start with preparation, move into practicing a couple of times, think about your performance, and finally conduct a post-mortem.